Today's our day, Tar Heels. Our day to celebrate all of our accomplishments, our journey, and those who helped us get here.
We are moving on from a place that we have loved from day one.
A place where we were welcomed as members of the Tar Heel family.
We set our sights high to leave our mark, our heel print.
We studied.
We created.
We danced.
We played.
And we played some more. This is where we were meant to be.
And then 2020 changed the world. It changed our world.
Our senior year was like no other. Classes moved to Zoom, and friendships moved to phones.
but we persevered when many would have called it quits.
We made it, Tar Heels. We are here today because we leaned on our teachers, our families, and each other to overcome challenges no one had ever faced. We did it, and we did it together.
At a time like no other, we are a class like no other. We are, and always will be, Tar Heels.
Welcome to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It is my pleasure to introduce Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz and distinguished members of the Platform Party and officially begin the 2021 commencement exercises.
Welcome to the 2021 Spring Commencement Exercises of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It is so good to see you. We've been waiting for this day for a long time, and we are so excited to celebrate your accomplishments. Please stand and direct your attention to the video boards as cadets and midshipmen of the Army, Navy, and Air Force Reserve Officers Training Corps units at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill present the colors. And let's join together in song as Senior and Bachelor of Music degree candidate Alexandra Donovan leads us in the national anthem.
Forward, march. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. I'd like to offer a particularly warm welcome to the 2021 graduates who are joining us from home and participating virtually in today's festivities. This is your day, too. Whether you're joining us from your hometown in North Carolina or in a distant city across the world, we celebrate your accomplishments today. Joining us via Zoom are some of those graduates celebrating at home. Hello, grads. Thank you to our families, friends, and faculty also joining us via live stream. It's amazing to be standing here before you today, this incredible sea of Carolina blue. It's been a tough year, and it could have been easy to just forgo this day, but I'm so glad we didn't. Why is it important to move a small tassel 6 inches from right to left across your face? Why does this matter? I hope you feel in your bones that this is important. But even if you don't right now, I bet that you'll look back and know instinctively that this ceremony and taking this moment to reflect wherever you are is important. Why? First, your story matters. Each one of you is a different person today than the person who came to Carolina years ago. That journey is a story of friends you've made, the faculty you've learned from, the classroom and research group conversations that have formed your thinking, the stories of late nights at the library, cheering at games, rushing Franklin Street, breakfast at Sutton's, and picnics on the quad. And it's not just about your story. Yes, your individual story matters, but you are part of a larger story. The story of your family and the love and support that has shaped who you are at this moment. It's also the story of our community here at Carolina. You have built this community in your time here. The second reason this ceremony is important is because history matters. You are joining a long line of Tar Heel alumni who have gathered in this place on this special day. Tar Heels like you who have lived through pandemics, political unrest, and economic uncertainty. Tar Heels like the class of 1971 who this year marked the 50th anniversary of their graduation and who wish they could be out on this field today with you. This ceremony and this moment reminds us of our history as the nation's first public university. It reminds us that we are here because for generations, the people of North Carolina have sacrificed and invested in your futures. This university's purpose, its very existence, is to serve this state. You are here to fully experience and appreciate this long history of service that extends all the way back to 1789. And third, we know rituals matter. Rituals ground us in the familiar and remind us of our place in the world. At a Jewish wedding, the chuppah signifies the new home a couple is building together. Christian baptism signifies being reborn into a new life. Last week, Muslims around the world celebrated the end of Ramadan, a month of fasting and reflection that grounds them in their faith and compassion for others. Many rituals symbolize the endurance of trials and becoming something new. Taking a sip at the old well signifies the hope of a new semester. Lighting the bell tower celebrates special moments in our community's life together. That is what today is about. You have defeated the obstacles, overcome the odds, and made it. John F. Kennedy once said, "Do not pray for easy lives. Pray to be stronger. You have become stronger." The ways you've had to endure the fight through this pandemic will pay dividends someday. You have adapted, and the lessons of this year are important and worth celebrating. You will face other challenges in your life. Who knows, maybe next year, in 5 years, or 25 years from now. And I hope that you'll look back on 2020 and think about how you've persevered, how you've helped others amid the struggles and obstacles. This is what great universities do. We are the university of the people, and we teach one another and our society how to adapt and solve the grand challenges of our time. As graduates, you will do the same in the years to come. And so today, let's celebrate you, Carolina's class of 2021. I've loved being your chancellor this year and every year. And it's been so much fun looking out my window from the South Building out at the Old Well over these past few weeks and seeing so many of you in line coming up to take pictures at the Old Well. So please join me in a round of applause for all our graduates. It is now my pleasure to introduce a few of my distinguished colleagues on the platform who are here to celebrate you and who also believe in your capacity and in the promise of your Carolina education. I will call their names and ask them to stand and remain standing. And please hold your applause until I've recognized everyone. Bob Bluen, Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost. Ron Strauss, Executive Vice Provost and Chair of the Commencement Committee. Amy Johnson, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Terry Rhodes, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Jay Cable, Senior Associate Dean for Natural Sciences and Mathematics. And your Senior Class President, Chris Suggs, and Vice President, Tamaya Troy. You may be seated. It's now my pleasure to welcome other representatives to bring greetings on behalf of the many constituencies that make up this great university. Bringing greetings virtually. Representing the University of North Carolina System, President Peter Hans. Representing the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina System, David Powers. Representing the Board of Trustees, Chair Richard Stevens. Representing the faculty, Faculty Chair Mimi Chapman. Representing the Graduate and Professional Student Government, President Ryan Collins. And representing the Alumni, General Alumni Association Board of Directors, Chair Jill Gammons. And we'll begin with President Hans.
Thank you, Chancellor Guskiewicz, and thank you to everyone at Carolina for extraordinary work in an extraordinary time. To the class of 2021, you made it. I think it's much too early for any of us to draw hard lessons from the last year to know how we'll remember this time or make it part of our life stories. Some of us may be tempted to forget it altogether, and I understand why. This isn't the college finale any of you pictured, or that any of us wanted for you. But for all the losses, big and small, of the year gone by, there has never been a better moment for new beginnings. The world is more uncertain than any of us imagined, and that's unsettling. But it's also freeing. You're graduating into a moment of unique possibility, a once-in-a-generation openness to new ideas and new ways of doing things. At least in my lifetime, there has never been a better moment to imagine what comes next. For you, for the people you love and care about, for the world at large. For those of you with solid plans and a clear path, you have my admiration and good wishes. For those of you still not sure what tomorrow will bring, well, welcome to the club. Turns out that's all of us, all of the time. You still have the chance to do enormous good in the world, no matter what the day brings. So on behalf of the UNC system and your classmates across the state, congratulations and well done.
On this special day, I'm delighted to bring greetings to graduates and their families on behalf of the University of North Carolina Board of Governors and UNC President Peter Hans. To the class of 21, what you have accomplished this year will be remembered well. You have persevered and you have achieved so much despite challenges no one could have predicted. I salute your work ethic and your determined spirit. Chancellor Guskowitz, thank you for your leadership during this unusual year. You are taking this great university to an even greater future with your collaborative approach and clear vision. From my work on the Board of Governors, I have been privileged to see firsthand the recent progress of this historic university in student access, in academic excellence, and scientific discovery. When we look at public research universities across the nation, UNC-Chapel Hill is often leading the way. And graduates, you have made your mark on this campus as well. Your contributions, your very presence has helped make this university what it is today. You should be proud. And I hope you have gratitude in your hearts for those who helped bring you to this moment, for your family and friends who cheered you during your academic journey, but also for the brilliant faculty and dedicated staff who have worked tirelessly for your education. They have provided inspiration, and yes, maybe sometimes they had to hold your feet to the fire when times were tough. I'd like to recognize one of your best today, Dr. Sharon James, a professor of classics who recently won the Board of Governors 2021 Award for Excellence in Teaching. When asked about her teaching philosophy, Dr. James said, "Learning is a process, and I seek to help students be patient with themselves in that process and gain confidence as they go." When you think about it, you've had amazing people in your corner all along. Today is the day to thank them as you prepare for life after Carolina. Your time here has also been a celebration of the rich physical, cultural, and intellectual diversity that Carolina offers. The joys of new friends, the rigors of your academic study, and the robust debate of ideas all contributed to your growth as a student and a well-rounded individual, ready for the challenges and opportunities ahead. Mark Twain once said that the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. I challenge you today to take your Carolina experience and find your why. Graduates, congratulations. Best of luck to you always. Have some fun along the way, and never forget that you're a Tar Heel.
I'm Richard Stevens, and I have the honor of chairing the UNC-Chapel Hill Board of Trustees. I bring greetings on behalf of the board for the class of 2021 and the December graduates of the class of 2020. Congratulations. We are so proud of you and the hard work that has gotten you to this moment and to this celebration. Every commencement ceremony is special, but this one, at the end of a long and difficult year, takes on particular significance in the history of this nation's first public university. For over 227 years, the university has persevered through war, economic depression, and prior pandemics. Yet, as I look to our future, I am confident that this university will continue to persevere. And I feel the same confidence in you, our graduates. As a class, you have faced many challenges, and yet you have continued to learn and to grow. As you head out into the world, you will face uncertainty, risk, and trials, but you won't face them alone. That's the best part of Carolina. You will take the friendships you've formed, the skills you've learned, and the memories of this place with you. Last year was my 50th class reunion, and I am still being shaped by this university. In the year 2071, I hope you will be back for your 50th reunion as well. In the meantime, I want you to remember one thing. As an alumnus once said, you may work on Wall Street, or you may work on Main Street, but don't ever forget Franklin Street. Never forget what this university has given you, and in time, I know you will find ways to give back to the university. Thank you, and hark the sound.
Hello, graduating Tar Heels. What a journey you have made since your first days on the Chapel Hill campus. As your faculty, we have witnessed firsthand your grit, adaptability, creativity, kindness, and your tenacity as you have overcome the challenges that come with any educational endeavor. But your journey has had the overlay of a global pandemic and the cultural shifts and confrontations that have changed us all. Let's look back for a moment to 1921, 100 years ago. 3 years after the First World War and the global flu pandemic that took the lives of 675,000 people in the U.S. alone. 1921 was the year of the Tulsa Race Massacre, long known as the worst single act of racial violence in the United States. Albert Einstein was discussing his new theory of relativity, and the World Series was broadcast by radio for the first time that year. Adolf Hitler assumed the position of the leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party. There were anti-colonial protests in Cairo, and immigration quotas aimed at keeping out Southern and Eastern Europeans were imposed in the United States. Yet in London, the International Pen is founded to foster friendship among the Global Association of Writers, and here at home, the future President Franklin D. Roosevelt was diagnosed with polio. An insulin that would change diabetes from a fatal to a chronic condition was isolated at the University of Toronto. The first Black pilot, Bessie Coleman, reached France and was the first Black person to earn an international pilot's license. It was a world of possibilities, uncertainties, bright lights, and deep despair. Not so unlike the challenges that await you today as you leave this time of preparation, learning, and growth to start doing the work that you were called to do. As your faculty, we hope you will take a little bit of us with you. Perhaps there was the moment that the physics concept finally made sense, or the novel that you were exposed to shifted your thinking, the first-year seminar that put you on a quest for a whole new career, or the class discussion that showed you the variety of ways people live and think in this great big world. Perhaps there was the professor that listened when you were having a personal struggle, encouraged you to study abroad, or supported you in applying for the coveted internship. We hope you remember a moment in the Ackland Museum when a work of art changed the conversation, or performances at Playmakers or Carolina Performing Arts that left you breathless and eager to talk about them. Those are the moments that most of us as faculty live for, that keep us coming back to this campus year after year. The other hope that motivates us is knowing that you are going out into the world to take what you've learned and apply it to the challenges of our time. We have joined with you in research and scholarship in the classroom and beyond, and we have confidence that you will take this knowledge to work for a more just society across the divides that seem so insurmountable right now. Each of your steps are different and all are important. Maybe you are heading toward an additional degree or a job across the country. You may be heading home to help your family and contribute to the community you've known all your life. Whatever your next step is, it is not the last. You will make your path by walking it, and we, the faculty of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, are honored to have been a part of it. We'll be cheering you on with every step you take. Congratulations.
Hello, friends. I'm Ryan Collins, UNC School of Law, class of 2021, and outgoing president of Graduate and Professional Student Government. On behalf of GPSG, I want to extend my warmest congratulations to all of you on your graduation today. For all of us, undergraduates, master's, doctoral, and professional students, this is the culmination not only of years of rigorous academic study and practical training, but also one of the most difficult years in our nation's history. You have shown an incredible amount of perseverance and resilience, all while advancing intellectual and scientific progress, giving back to your communities, and fighting for social justice. I am proud to stand alongside of you today as a fellow graduate of Carolina. I would like to give a special shout out to my fellow graduate and professional students. Whether you just finished your final semester of classes, or defended your dissertation, or completed your clinical rotation, congratulations on a spectacular accomplishment. And to all of those who supported today's graduates along the way, parents, partners, family, friends, teachers, mentors, and so many more, thank you for everything you have done to get us here. Fellow graduates, as we go forth from today, I leave you with the words of the beloved lawyer L. Woods. You must always have faith in people, and most importantly, you must always have faith in yourself. Congratulations, UNC Class of 2021. We did it.
Hello, I'm Jill Gammon, Chair of the General Alumni Association Board of Directors. Congratulations. After years of hard work, countless thrilling discoveries, anxious moments, and bottomless cups of coffee, you have earned your cherished degree from Carolina. You and your family can be justifiably proud of your sacrifices and accomplishments. And now you join the largest and only permanent part of our Carolina family. You are alumni. There are more than 342,000 living alumni in all 100 North Carolina counties, all 50 states, and over 140 nations. And the General Alumni Association is the official organization for all former Carolina students. The GAA's award-winning bi-monthly magazine and informative email updates will keep you connected with Carolina, with your classmates and Tar Heel friends, and with your local Carolina club and other alumni activities. The GAA also offers alumni career services and lots of enrichment and networking opportunities. We hope you'll become members of the GAA. And please share your contact information updates with the GAA wherever you land so that we can stay in touch with you. Today, you can take great pride in your Carolina experience. But know this, your Carolina stories are just beginning. Live them well. And again, congratulations.
Commencement is an opportunity for us to recognize extraordinary and accomplished individuals who embody the mission of this great institution and inspire us all. Each year, the faculty and the Board of Trustees select these individuals for distinguished service to the university, the state, the nation, and the world. Upon these individuals, we are privileged to confer honorary degrees in recognition of their exemplary achievement and impact. You have seen their pictures on the video boards as you enter the stadium today. And while we look forward to officially honoring them in the coming days, we want to recognize our recipients for this year. Ann Cates, Doctor of Laws. W. Lowry Cottle, Doctor of Laws. Kismikia S. Corbett, Doctor of Science. Donald Williams Curtis, Doctor of Laws. Anthony S. Fauci, Doctor of Science. Bernadette Gray Little, Doctor of Laws. Carla Hayden, Doctor of Laws. Isaac Beverly Lake, Doctor of Laws. And William Edward Luchtenberg, Doctor of Humane Letters. A round of applause for these recipients. Your two commencement speakers today are two incredible leaders in the fight against COVID-19. Dr. Anthony Fauci is the nation's top infectious disease doctor and has served as the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases Director since 1984. In this role, he oversees research focused on preventing, diagnosing, and treating established and emerging infectious diseases such as HIV/AIDS, respiratory infections, malaria, and Ebola. He has received numerous prestigious awards for his scientific and global health accomplishments, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's been one of the most popular and reassuring faces on national television during the pandemic. Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, one of our own here at Carolina, has been at the forefront of vaccine development as a leading scientist at the National Institutes of Health. She earned her PhD in microbiology and immunology from the UNC School of Medicine in 2014. Her interest in rapid vaccine development led her to a postdoc fellowship at the NIH's Vaccine Research Center, where she studied coronaviruses such as SARS and MERS. That work laid the foundation for the speed with which her team developed a COVID-19 vaccine. She is now a research fellow and the scientific lead for the coronavirus's vaccines and immunopathogenesis team at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. She will join the faculty at Harvard this fall in the Immunology and Infectious Diseases Department. It is our honor to have these two amazing scientists with us today. Enjoy.
Thank you, Chancellor Guskowitz, for that kind introduction. Members of the faculty, distinguished guests, family members, and friends of the graduates, and you, the 2021 graduating class of the University of North Carolina. It is a personal pleasure and a true honor to be your commencement speaker, and I accept with gratitude and humility the honorary degree from this outstanding university. I have had the privilege of delivering several commencement addresses over the years, and I invariably have included in these addresses in some manner or form a reference to the fact that I was in your situation many years ago when I graduated from college and then from medical school. And so I felt that I could directly relate to what you have just experienced as a student. I might then go on to draw analogies from my past to your present. Well, that just does not pass muster this year, for what you have experienced as a result of the profound upending of your lives by COVID-19 is truly unprecedented. No students dating back over 100 years since the historic influenza pandemic of 1918 have had this level of disruption to their lives during their student years. Furthermore, the world into which you will enter as you leave the confines of this beautiful campus has changed dramatically. The adjustments that you will have to make in order to function in the world that awaits you are substantial. No doubt, it is going to be tough. However, what I've seen of how you have responded to this pandemic thus far gives me confidence that you will adjust and you will thrive. I have seen from a distance how you have cooperated with your faculty in a program to keep your campus safe and to the degree possible free of COVID-19, and how you have managed to participate in keeping the university open and functioning while achieving a much lower than expected infection rate. This outcome could only have been accomplished by discipline, teamwork, and respect for your fellow students. In addition, several of your UNC scientists, whom I know quite well, are playing major roles in the development of a substantial public health response to this pandemic through the implementation of high-impact biomedical research. Of this, you should feel justly proud. However, as you enter a hurting world that is trying desperately to recover from this historic pandemic that is still raging and whose future course is still uncertain, whether you fully realize it or not, you can play an important role in ending the pandemic and in our recovery from it. What do I mean by this? Leadership. I refer here to your potential for leadership. You are graduating from an extraordinary institution. The young men and women of the University of North Carolina are the future leaders of our society, a society that has suffered greatly from a public health standpoint, with close to 600,000 deaths in the United States alone, and unimaginable physical and mental suffering for millions of others. And from an economic standpoint, with millions of jobs lost and businesses destroyed, perhaps irreparably for some. It is a hurting and changed world, and the new normal to which we will return may not be entirely the same as the normal from which we departed in January 2020. You are going to play an important role in shaping this new normal. Perhaps it can even be a better normal, but more on that in a bit. For certain, you cannot do it alone, but it cannot be done without you and with your leadership. And so in this regard, leadership is a gradual process that you have already begun when you enrolled here at UNC. I speak not necessarily of officially designated leadership, which actually some of you may assume in your careers. I speak of the leadership that can take many forms, including the quiet and subtle leadership of example. Which brings me to my next point of discussion. COVID-19 and the bright light shone on society's failings. Our country's experience with COVID-19 has shed a bright light on one of the great failings in our society, and that is the extraordinary health disparities among minority groups, especially African Americans, Hispanics, and Native Americans. These minority groups have a much greater likelihood of getting infected with SARS-CoV-2 and developing the disease COVID-19 because of the nature of the jobs that many of them have as essential workers in society. More importantly, when they get infected with the coronavirus, they have a much greater likelihood of developing a severe consequence of infection due to the greater incidence and prevalence among them of underlying comorbid medical conditions, such as hypertension, chronic lung disease, diabetes, obesity, among several others, that lead to a multifold increase in hospitalizations and deaths compared to the general population. And you know, very few of these diseases are racially determined, and almost all of them relate to the social determinants of health dating back to conditions that many minorities find themselves in from birth, regarding the availability of adequate diet, the lack of access to health care, and the restriction put upon them by the undeniable racism that exists in our society. And so let us promise ourselves that our memory of this tragic reality, that an infectious disease disproportionately hospitalizes and kills people because of the color of their skin, and that this does not fade after we return to our so-called new normal. It will take a decades-long commitment for society to reverse this trend. And I strongly urge you to be part of that commitment. Which brings me to my next point of discussion: public service and social responsibility. I sincerely believe that regardless of our career paths, we cannot look the other way from pressing societal issues. There are still pockets of society here in our own country that are steeped in poverty, drug abuse, violence, health disparities, inadequate education, racism, discrimination, and despair. Some of you may devote your future careers and lives to directly addressing these societal issues. Understandably, most of you will not. But in this regard, public service does not necessarily mean a profession or avocation devoted entirely to public service. One can incorporate public service into your lives regardless of your career choice. So please take this into serious consideration and make it part of your lives. This might hopefully help counter another sad truth prevalent in our society: unprecedented divisiveness, which is my next point of discussion. COVID-19 and a divided nation. Throughout most of the year 2020, I was a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force under President Donald Trump. In that capacity, I, together with my colleagues on the task force, tried to persuade the country to follow certain public health guidelines that could dampen the outbreak that was evolving and continues to evolve into the most devastating pandemic of a respiratory disease in over 100 years. Clearly, we have a common enemy, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and a common enemy requires a unified and consistent response. The guidelines that we developed required restrictions on society that clearly were painful and had enormous economic and individual personal consequences. However, these restrictions were necessary and ultimately saved lives. I would have thought that as a nation, we would all pull together, similar to what we had done following the terrorist attacks of 9/11 or even during World War II. However, sadly, that has not always happened. Tragically, the pandemic brought to the surface the intense and glaring divisiveness in our society that led to the practice of proven public health countermeasures, such as wearing a mask or avoiding congregate settings, to take on a strong political connotation. What surprised me, and frankly continues to frighten me, is the willingness of so many people to believe in alternative facts and deny reality that is staring them right in the face, such as believing or pretending to believe that the almost 600,000 deaths from COVID-19 is fake news or a hoax. It took an historic pandemic, which I, as a scientist, physician, and public health official, was deeply involved in, and which forced me at times to unfortunately come into conflict with the President of the United States, to impress upon me how destructive to our nation is the current palpable divisiveness among us. And so, as you leave this extraordinary institution, whether you are a Democrat, Republican, or independent, please do not allow differences of opinion that you might have lead to outright hostility. We will not fare well as a nation through the current challenge of a pandemic and the inevitable future challenges that our country will face if we do not pull together with a singular purpose of the common good. Finally, let us talk about joy. I have been speaking to you over the past few minutes about the serious issues that we are facing in the context of this historic pandemic of COVID-19. Let me assure you, as a public health person who is devoting every waking hour and even some of my dreams to ending this pandemic, that it will end and we will come out of this stronger than we were before this challenge. I promise you that. And so, putting this serious business aside for a moment, I want to close with a reminder about the joyousness of your life ahead. Allow yourselves to cultivate this joy as much as you do your professional accomplishments. As you might expect, different pursuits and activities provide joy in different ways to different people. Find your own source of joy and happiness and fully embrace it. And let the sounds of your laughter be heard. Before I close, I am pleased to express my pleasure in sharing this stage with one of your own, my NIH colleague and a true Tar Heel, Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett. Congratulations to you, to your families, and to your loved ones. Good luck, and God bless you.
Tar! Wait, is it too soon? Have we gotten to the moment in the program where we're all exhausted and just ready to go home? Home. A word that most certainly takes on a different meaning after the past year. Home is where the heart is, they say. Home. Thank you to Chancellor Guskiewicz for welcoming me back home. Thank you to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, class of 2021, for simply being here. I think that is all that we can ask of students after the past year, especially students who embarked upon such different and maybe even difficult times in order to finish off their college career. Congratulations. You did it. You did it boldly. You did it fearlessly. You did it intelligently. And the prize of it all is that you did it in a pandemic. I jokingly talked to you about leaving this ceremony to go home, to the place from where you hail. And for some of you, that just may be the case. Whether it be a small town in North Carolina, a bustling city on the West Coast, or one of the many nations around the globe. For some of you, you will leave this 729-acre campus and journey around the world. For some of you, you will go off to graduate school to further hone your professional skills. For some, the vaccinated ones, of course, you will take on a much-needed vacation. I almost put a line in this speech about where I was headed after my undergraduate commencement in 2008. But then I realized that my mom is probably going to watch this, so I'll spare her the embarrassment. Look, Mama, I made it. Nevertheless, no matter where you are headed after this moment, similar to myself, Carolina will always be home. You know, I actually grew up about 10 miles from UNC in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Every single Thanksgiving, obviously with the exception of 2020, my extended family gathers at my mama's house, just 15 minutes from where you sit. Upwards of 50 people come to eat turkey, stuffing, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, yams, you name it. Before we break bread, right before the blessing, we go around the table so that we each can say what we are thankful for. I remember exactly what I said when it was my turn in 2019, the Thanksgiving before the pandemic began. I said, as I take the next steps, no matter where my career will take me, the one thing that I am consistently thankful for is having a place to call home. Home is my grandmother's house on Thanksgiving, my mother's for Christmas. Home to me is in part Hillsborough. I even say the air smells different, fresher, more peaceful there. No matter how many times I attempt to fry peach pies in Maryland, they will never taste like my grandmother's. Home just isn't about the place you were raised, though. Home is, or are, the culmination of places that amass experiences that shape who you are, that shape who you will be. Home is Carolina, the lecture hall for Friday morning pop quizzes, Franklin Street for wild Halloweens. Sure, with those great things, college may have also presented its obstacles. There is no shame, though. I got my first bad grade in college, too. Everything may not have been peach pie, but the beautiful thing about this moment, as you leave this place, a place that has shaped you for the past 4 years, is that you now have the privilege to decide where you go from here. It is the time when you are becoming who you are destined to be, the time when you are finding your why, a time when you are figuring out your place in this world and where do you belong. Well, I'll tell you something. I am 35 years old and I'm still figuring that part out. But when someone asks me who I am, the things that I know to be true and ingrained are the things that, even when they aren't peach pie, made me who I am. Those things from home, not just the scientist or the vaccine developer. Those are the things that I am to the world. For you, that might be lawyer or teacher or doctor or preacher, but your being, the part of you that you will take to every single profession or place that you embark on for your lifetime. Those are the things that make you uniquely you. Everyone in that stadium is now a Tar Heel, but your being, the pieces of you that are unparalleled to anything that anyone else has to offer, will come from remembering from where you came, from where you conquered, here at UNC and every other step along the way. Today, as you sit there perhaps nervous about your future or uncertain about what is to come, remember that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You are going exactly where you are destined to go. And as my dad so eloquently put it as he dropped me off at my first apartment, if the world ever mistreats you, remember that you always have home. Congratulations.
We now turn to the conferral of degrees. Let's take a moment to recognize our outstanding undergraduates. These seniors are exceptionally accomplished students who exemplify the highest possible level of undergraduate scholarship. Will the candidates for baccalaureate degrees with highest honors please rise and remain standing? Will the candidates for baccalaureate degrees with honors please rise and remain standing? Congratulations to each of you on this outstanding academic achievement. Please join me in applause. Please be seated. I now call upon the Dean of the College to bring remarks and present the candidates for degrees to the Chancellor, Dean Terry Rhodes.
Greetings to everyone, and my special congratulations to the graduating seniors of the College of Arts and Sciences. Here today are our students representing most of our majors in the natural sciences and mathematics. And before I begin, I would like to give a special shout out to Alexandra Dunavant for her beautiful rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. Allie is both a journalism and media major and a music major. Music is my home department. Brava, Allie. It is a great honor to be here before you today, and I am grateful that we have this opportunity to gather in person. Like most of you here, I grew up in North Carolina. I'm a native of Raleigh and a proud graduate of Carolina myself, earning my bachelor's degree in music in 1978. My Tar Heel education has taken me around the world, and I have no doubt it will prepare you for your own remarkable journeys. It has also brought me back home to this beloved campus, where I have been a part of the faculty since 1987 and dean of the college since 2019. I'm also the proud parent of a 2019 graduate of Carolina. And as a parent of a recent graduate, I do have some sense of what today means to all of you and how special it is for your families. Graduating from college, especially an outstanding university like Carolina, is one of life's great milestones and worthy of a celebration. And it is even more noteworthy this year. Your last 3 semesters here have been irrevocably shaped by the coronavirus and the world's response to it. It has been challenging, no question. But what I hope you will take from this experience is that you demonstrated remarkable resiliency and resolve. Take pride in the determination it took to get you to this moment today. Take pride in how you learned to navigate online coursework and collaborating with classmates in Sakai and Zoom breakout rooms. Take pride in how you overcame obstacles that ranged from unreliable Wi-Fi to interrupted study abroad plans to needing to care for younger siblings while at home. Like your resolve and determination, these skills, knowing how to collaborate online, connecting with others asynchronously, mastering these rapidly evolving tools and technologies, will serve you well far into the future. These times have prepared you for handling unpredictability and forging into the unknown. I feel certain that in 20 years, you will look back in wonder and pride at your time at Carolina and feel gratitude for the deep connections you have made here. Once again, congratulations, kudos for a job well done, seniors. And now it is my honor to say, Chancellor Guskiewicz, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Will these students please rise?
Dean Rose, thank you for those inspirational and thoughtful words. By virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina, by the state of North Carolina, and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which the faculty has certified you, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining, and I offer you my warmest congratulations. You may be seated. I now invite Chris Suggs, president of the senior class, to say a few words on behalf of the class of 2021. And at the conclusion of his remarks, he will be joined by senior class vice president Tamaya Troy. And together, they will lead you in the switching of your tassel, signifying your graduation from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Chris.
Wow, what a great day to be a Tar Heel. When I think of home, I think of my Eastern North Carolina hometown of Kinston. Sitting on the front porch with my grandma, waving to neighbors as they walk or drive by. For the rest of you, home may be some other community across our great state or around the world that nurtured you and built you into the brilliant person you are today. But for each of us, I hope that when we arrived on the brick paths and lush quads of our beautiful campus, we found a second home in Carolina. This home at Carolina might not smell of grandma's sweet potato pie or provide you with a curfew of when to be inside for dinner. In fact, this campus home probably provided more freedom to explore and learn than one could have ever imagined. Over these last few years in which many of us have been here at Carolina, we've seen our university community at its best and its most vulnerable. For undergraduates, we entered the university on the heels of a national championship and got to rush Franklin Street at least twice during our first year. We were a part of the fearless activism that led to the removal of Silent Sam and have contributed so much to make this campus one that is welcoming and inclusive for all. We were torn apart by a deadly pandemic and global unrest due to racial injustice, which both have hit home for far too many of us in this stadium. And in recent weeks, we were brought together again to celebrate the impact of and wish well on his retirement, one of the greatest Tar Heels of all time, our coach, Roy Williams. My hope is that as we depart from home, whether we consider that to be Chapel Hill, your hometown, or simply the people with whom you feel most safe, we always remember and cherish it. Take a moment to recognize those who have made today and home special. Your friends, the faculty and other members of our university community, your families, and the people sitting around you today. Friends, classmates, fellow graduates, it has been an honor to be on this journey with you and to serve as class president for such a resilient class. Congratulations. At this time, I will be joined by our senior class vice president and my college sweetheart, Tamaya Troy.
As vice president of the class of 2021, I am privileged to lead you in moving your tassels from right to left, signifying your new status. On the count of 3, we will do this together. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Tar Heels. Tar! I think we can do better than that. Tar Heels! Congratulations, everyone, we made it.
Thank you, Chris and Tamaya. And congratulations, graduates. You are now joining 340,000 plus living alumni of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Congratulations. As Chris just mentioned, one of those alumni, Roy Williams, is arguably one of the best to ever coach the game of basketball. Sitting next to him at his final press conference at the Smith Center, I remember the words he said looking out at the members of the teams he's coached over the years. And he said, "I've been so lucky because of those players, and nothing is better than seeing the look on your guys' faces when you accomplish something that's really hard. You, the class of 2021, have accomplished something really hard. And along with your faculty, your families, and your friends, we are so lucky to have been on this journey with you. We celebrate what you've accomplished, and we're excited for your futures." Speaking of great coaches, I'm going to leave you with one piece of advice, and it comes from Jason Sudeikis. If you've been able to see the Apple TV series Ted Lasso, you'll remember an important dart game. As Ted's playing, he talks about how people have underestimated him his entire life. And he never understood why until he heard a quote from Walt Whitman. Be curious, not judgmental. And he realized that the people who used to belittle him weren't curious. They judged everyone, and they had no idea who he actually was. Because if they were curious, they would have asked questions. Questions like, have you played a lot of darts, Ted? And the answer was yes. Ted used to play darts every Sunday afternoon with his dad, a lot of darts. And when the stakes were highest, Ted hits 2 triple 20s and a bullseye to win. As we conclude today's ceremony, that's my message to you. Be curious, not judgmental. In my own research on concussions, every time we answer one question, new questions emerge. So asking those questions is so important. Don't assume that you know all the answers. Don't think you know who someone is just by looking at them. If there's anything that you've learned here at Carolina, I hope it's that there's still so much that you don't yet know. Keep learning and keep growing. Keep asking questions, especially of the people who have different experiences, who are unique, who don't see the world in the same way that you do. And I hope that, like Ted Lasso, you remember that when others underestimate you, it's because they don't themselves know who you are. They're not curious enough. They don't know your story, and they haven't asked the right questions. Remember that, and then go win that dart game. Congratulations, Tar Heels. Before we close, it's my honor to continue another Carolina tradition. Will the families and friends of our graduates please rise? Families and friends here in the stadium and at home. And graduates, it's now your turn to say thank you. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff and support teams across many departments here on campus who have worked tirelessly to make it possible for us to gather here today under these unique conditions. Please join me in a round of applause for this incredible team. And we would like to offer one last tribute to the class of 2021. Afterwards, please remain in your seats until the platform party exits. And then, graduates, you can exit to your left or your right to join your families on the concourse level. Now, turn your attention to the video boards one last time for performances by the UNC Clefhangers, Harmonics, and the Tar Heel Marching Band. Enjoy.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Karen, she's a silver sun. You best walk her away and watch it shine. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver of a tear appearing now, and I'm crying, and I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. She whispers something soft and kind. Hey babe, the sky's on fire and I'm dying tonight, 'cause I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Dark inside the lane last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling, and geese in flight and dogs that bite. Signs that might be open say I'm going, I'm going, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. With a holy host of others standing around me, and still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it seems like it goes on like this forever, and you must forgive me if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Well, ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone, gone, gone. When I'm gone, won't you say nice things about me? When I'm gone, whoa, won't you carry on without me? When I'm gone.
Hark the sound of Tar Heel voices, ringing clear and true, singing Carolina's praises, shouting NCU. Hail to the brightest star of all, clear its radiant shine. Carolina, priceless gem, receive all praises thine.